Everyone, we are back with another ASC YouTube video, and today, well, since you guys showed so much love to the last mock draft, I'm bringing you another one. So I'm bringing you another 2021 NFL mock draft, and a lot has changed since the last one. I mean, teams like the Giants are now at pick 19. The Vikings have completely turned around their season, and some teams are just completely falling into a ditch, and it's pretty sad to see. I have watched a lot more tape now. I'm still not like through everything, obviously. I haven't gone as in depth as I would in the springtime, but I have a good understanding of who I really like and where these guys are going to be at on my final big board. So let's just get started with the New York Jets. And I'm not actually going to waste your time with these first three picks. They all need no explanation. They all should be in cement, if you ask me. So Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Penei Sewell to each team. Dallas Cowboys giving you the best corner, Patrick Surtain. Do I need to explain this at all? Their secondary is absolutely atrocious. Get some help on the back end. The entire defense has just been a train wreck. The entire team in of itself has been that. So get yourself a true corner you can put on the outside. LA Chargers. Now, the Chargers, their main need is offensive line, if you ask me. But there's no offensive lineman I'm really comfortable taking in the top 5. There are ones that I'm fine with near like pick 10, but top 5 not really. I'm also looking towards the Chargers need a second corner on the outside to pair with Casey Hayward, and also Casey Hayward just has injury problems. So Caleb Farley, who might actually end up being my corner 1 when it's all said and done for my big board, because this man, his instincts are fantastic. He's got such great athleticism. He's converted. Now, obviously, that is a concern because he's not been doing it as long, but he's just looked absolutely spectacular when he has played. And, you know, he's got the injury concerns, but who cares? He's been really damn good, but pairing him with this Chargers medical staff may not be the best scenario. Speaking of dumpster fire franchises, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, you just benched Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts looked all right in his debut. We'll really see how he performs with the starting job against the Saints this week, and I'm excited to watch him, but Carson Wentz is a real question mark, and you could go Zach Wilson here. You could potentially, because I don't see the Eagles thinking that they're going to be in the top 10 anytime soon after this season, because this season has just been the worst case scenario for them. And if they truly do want to trade Carson Wentz, you could and still get one of the top 4 quarterbacks in this class. You could, but I'm not going to do that, because in order to receive the value that you invested on Jalen Hurts, you need to give him reps. I think they need to get a new head coach in there. I think Brian Daboll would be perfect for the Eagles. For what he's done for Josh Allen, he could potentially do that for Carson Wentz. Now, I know it's later stages in Carson Wentz's career, and he hasn't been the same since 2017. If you look back to last year, he was showing signs of this regression. It's just now this season, it's really reared its head with all the play calling mishaps, the offensive line completely falling apart, and the weapons just being not good. So I'm going to give them a weapon. It's the best receiver in the class, and it's Jamar Chase. Really quintessential wide receiver prospect, if you ask me. I mean, Jalen Reagor, yeah, he flashed against Green Bay. Get yourself that number 1 receiver. Reagor would complement Jamar Chase really well, and he could be the easy number 1 target. Carolina Panthers. So I might get some backlash for this, but I truly stand by this. So if you look, before I give this pick, let's take a look at the Panthers. They have a really young defense that I have really liked what I've seen from. Their offense is really creative. Now, do I think Joe Brady's going to be their OC after this year? No, I think he's going to get a head coaching gig probably this year, because a lot of openings are going to come of this. But I still have faith that they're going to do well. And Teddy Bridgewater has played really well for them. But here's the thing. You look at the state of the NFC South. Let's take a look. Tom Brady on a 2-year deal in his mid-40s, where he'll probably be done after next season. Drew Brees, He's been injured the past 2 seasons, and this very likely could be his last. And then Matt Ryan with the Falcons. We don't really know where the Falcons are going to take their franchise in the next few years with their new general manager or head coach. And the signs to having a new GM with an old quarterback points to having a new quarterback. So all 3 of those guys could be on their way out within the next year or 2. So then I look at the Panthers and I think they have a really great foundation, a great coach in Matt Rule, who I have loved what I've seen from so far. Their defense has flashed a lot. I don't think Carolina is going to be picking in this area anytime soon. So I'm giving him Zach Wilson. You can have him sit for a year behind Teddy Bridgewater, have him learn and develop, even though I don't think he really needs it because he's going to translate really well to the NFL if you ask. I mean, Zach Wilson is so much fun to watch. He's been the biggest riser in college football this year for sure. The reason BYU is good is because of Zach Wilson. And I know they just lost to Coastal Carolina, but his receivers were dropping everything. And if you put him in this Carolina offense, damn, that's going to be a lot of fun. I know Teddy's been playing really well for them, but when I look at Carolina, Teddy's not the thing I'm like wowed by. If they put Zach Wilson in there with CMC, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, my God, that could be electric. I would absolutely love that for Carolina, and Carolina would be setting themselves up to run this division for years to come, if you ask me, if they made this move. Atlanta Falcons. So, you could go quarterback, and I think you should in some way, but I really don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to look at their defense because their offense has been playing a lot better as of late and with Matt Ryan. But Matt Ryan still, I don't think he's going to be a like Super Bowl quarterback in your future. I think the Falcons are pretty much done with Matt Ryan in the sense that they're going to be contending with him. Now, you could pull a Rodgers Love. You could do that. But Matt Ryan, I feel like, has a shorter... It's hard to really say. So I'm just going to stick with Kwity Paye. Best edge player in this class for me. Moving on to the Miami Dolphins. I would love Micah Parsons for them. But I think after watching that performance against the Bengals this past week, I think you need to make it easy on Tua, if you ask me. So I'm going to give him his college teammate in Devonta Smith, who is making a case for wide receiver 1 in this class, if you ask me. He's definitely a top 10 player, and smooth route runner, cushiony hands. The only concerns I really have with him are his frame and his weight. He'll make it work. I mean, he's going to translate real nicely. He fits the modern game so well. So let's make it happen, make it easy on Tua, and I think he will complement that receiving core really well because you already have those big body targets like Devontae Parker and Preston Williams already, and Devonta Smith is a vast upgrade over Jakeem Grant, who I just view as a special teamer. Denver Broncos. This is Micah Parsons. Vic Fangio would drool at the thought of getting Micah Parsons in his defense, and he's, like I said in the last mock, perfect linebacker prospect. I love him. It's just he's fallen because of the needs of the other teams, if you ask me, and just how this board has fallen, and I love it for Denver, this pick. Washington football team. Good win over the Steelers this past week. Alex Smith, even though he has been the comeback player of the year, you can't go into next season with your current quarterback situation. Even if you make the playoffs, I think you can't. You just can't. But I'm thinking Trey Lance just makes the most sense for them. I think he can do some things similarly to what Cam Newton did for Turner's offense in Carolina, so you can make him do some of those things. And if you want to have him sit for a year, he's a really toolsy guy. You know, his sample size isn't the biggest, and you did see a little glimpse of him this season. It wasn't that great, but you could have him sit behind Alex Smith for a couple of games and let him learn like how Patrick Mahomes learned. I'm not saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes at all, but you could pull a similar stunt in that instance. But I think Washington cannot afford to go into next season with their quarterback situation because it's just not pretty. And I know Kurt, who's co-host on our podcast, he thinks you should build around the quarterback before they get there. But when you're in such a dire situation for a QB and you have the chance to take one, I think you should do it. Detroit Lions. Wow. So Kenny Golladay, I have no idea what's going on with Kenny Golladay. No one really knows. Apparently it's a hip injury, but some people are like, what's taking so long? And who really knows if he's going to be on this team next year, because they haven't paid him yet, and I'm really concerned because their offense works when Kenny Golladay is on the field. It's a lot better when he is, and it's night and day difference. But if Kenny Golladay is not on this team next year, they're going to need a wide receiver, and I would take this guy either way, even if Golladay was on this team, because he complements Golladay perfectly. That's Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle has not fallen down, but he had that injury, so you gotta take consideration of that. Dynamic is something simple to say about Jalen Waddle, and I'm just gonna say Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle are a better wide receiver duo compared to Judy and Ruggs from last year, if you ask me. These two skill sets are going to be perfect for the modern NFL, and these landing spots are great for them. Chicago Bears. So you're going to be taking a player that I think is going to be very versatile on that offensive line. You're missing out on the quarterbacks, which sucks. So I think they should be in the market to trade up. But I'm having them take a lineman that could play anywhere they want them to, and that's going to be Rashawn Slater. Darrisaw would make sense here for them. He'd be an absolute monster for them. But I think Slater fits what they need more, and he's just super versatile. You can play him anywhere. They just need help anywhere on that line. Rashawn Slater, good pick for the Bears, if you ask me. He's very much rising a lot like Zach Wilson is. San Francisco 49ers. This one is tough. I think I'm just going to go the easy way out and go with a corner. I think a lot of their corners are free agents after this year, if I'm not mistaken. So J.C. Horn does make the most sense here. I think it's a little high, but for what they're going to need, yeah, I think the 49ers should be taking a corner here. Maybe trade down, get some picks back. But J.C. Horn, it's still a good pick if you ask me. Arizona Cardinals. Rashawn Slater is now off the board, and I was thinking about Slater for them. But the Cardinals, their defense is what's kind of getting to me, and Cliff Kingsbury also is getting on my nerves a bit as of late. I think Kyler has been covering up a lot of the mistakes the Cardinals have been making as of late. And a guy that has jumped up my rankings as of late, it's not Greg Rousseau. I'll get to my Greg Rousseau explanation when I have a team pick him. I'm giving him Joseph Osai, who's been absolutely spectacular this season, and he's really risen up. So give yourself a versatile edge player to play with Chandler Jones, because they have absolutely no one on the edge outside of that. And I think Joseph Osai would be really good in this Vance Joseph defense. So let's make it happen. New England Patriots. I don't need to explain this at all. Kyle Pitts. They need a weapon on offense, so let's give them the best weapon available. And Kyle Pitts, he's a glorified tight end. He's really a receiver, if you ask me. But New England needs weapons. I mean, you saw the other day, Cam Newton had 60 passing yards, I think. No one on that field, on the receiving core, can catch the ball. They just can't. So give yourself a dynamic playmaker. I've watched a ton of Florida tape as of late, and I've fallen in love with some of their prospects, Pitts being one of them. Kind of feel bad because he's kind of fallen out, but it's just what's kind of happened, because each of these teams have a tight end really, or have more pressing needs than tight ends. So Kyle Pitts in New England, just make it happen. Baltimore Ravens. So this is where Greg Rousseau is going to go. I honestly don't think Greg Rousseau is going to be in the top 10. I don't. He's a really toolsy pass rusher, and I'm not a big fan, and I haven't been that impressed with him. He's shown flashes, but it's just like, I don't know. Now, Baltimore, thing is, they need interior line help, and I get it. They haven't been able to replace Marshall Yanda, and they have had injuries this season. I looked at their roster, and they don't have an edge player for next year. Both Matthew Judon and Yannick Ngakoue are going to be, they're both on the franchise tag right now. So they don't have an edge rusher, like a good edge rusher under contract for next year, and they're not going to be able to pay both of them. So getting Greg Rousseau in here, who they can have move along the line and play him wherever the hell they want to play him, I think would be really nice for this Baltimore defense, which hasn't been performing as well as of late. I think this could be a good pick for the Ravens. And also, if any team is going to draft and develop a player like Greg Rousseau well, it's going to be Baltimore. I have a lot of faith in Baltimore's front office and development staff. This could really work out. Las Vegas Raiders. So, they would have loved Greg Rousseau, if you ask me, but they need help on the edge. I know Cleveland Farrell just had a really great game against the Jets, but if you look at his statistics of the past 2 years, he hasn't really produced against other than the Jets, which is kind of funny if you ask me. He hasn't been up to the 4th overall standard, and Max Crosby has not lived up to his rookie campaign, which was overrated in the first place. So they still need help on the edge bad. So Azeez Ojulari is the best one available, so I'm going to give him to him. Now on to the Giant. Joe Judge has really turned around this team. And also Patrick Graham has made this defense actually pretty nice. And if you look at their personnel isn't that good, but they've coached him so well that they've just been like an actual good defense. Their offensive line has been much better. Andrew Thomas has improved so much over the season. So I'm going to give them a guy that is skyrocketing up my board as of late. And he might honestly be my edge 2 or edge 1 when my finalized big board happens. As of right now, I'm not going to overreact, but Jalen Phillips out of Miami, he has been amazing this year. He's been top 5 player I've loved to watch this year. I think he's been better since some of these guys, over some of these guys in front of him, like Greg Rousseau and Ojulari, honestly. It's just, he just got put into this role, but he has not blinked at all to taking on this role. He has been explosive. He's been refined. I think once he goes to the combine and completely lights it up, teams are going to love him. I think they're going to love him. I think he's going to be a 1st round pick. He's going to probably jump on my board a lot. I love Jalen Phillips so much. Now, obviously, the sample size isn't that great. Just go watch the Duke game. He completely owns that game. So, Jalen Phillips, that's a name to keep your eye on because he has been amazing and has completely usurped Quincy Roche and even Greg Rousseau for the Canes. Now onto the Vikings. I'm looking at edge rusher or offensive line, but their edge play has been better as of late and their defense has really stepped up. But the thing is, Wyatt Davis is available. I feel like that's the right pick in this scenario, but also a guy like Patrick Jones, I feel like Minnesota would really like. I'll give them Wyatt Davis just for the fact that they need interior line help bad. But Patrick Jones also, I've been watching lately, and he's been really good. So keep your eye on him as well. I might actually have him be picked soon in this mock. So let's move on to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are kind of in a little bit of a lull. And they have a really big game against the Minnesota Vikings this week. It's going to be a huge game for both of them. It has a ton of playoff implications. For the Buccaneers, Donovan Smith has not been it this year. And if you're trying to help Tom Brady now, I think you get him an anchor on the left side in Christian Darrisaw. I'm also looking at Patrick Jones because Shaq Barrett hasn't been even as good as JPP this year. So getting Patrick Jones would help, I guess, but I think Darrisaw is way too good to pass on. He's fallen way too far in my opinion in this scenario, so I'm gonna give him Darrisaw. So on to the Dolphins, who selected Devonta Smith earlier. Ooh, I have a guy I'm looking at right now who I would absolutely love in the Dolphins defense under Brian Flores. That's Zaven Collins. The things that Brian Flores could do. If you guys don't know, Zaven Collins out of Tulsa, he might win the Butt Kiss Award this year. He's been that good. And oh my God, him in Miami would just be a dream come true, if you ask me. I really have liked what I've watched from Miami's defense this year, and getting a guy like Zaven Collins in the middle of that defense, even though I do like Owusu Koramoah for them, but Zaven Collins is just so much. He's so versatile. I would love that for them. On to the Colts. And what I'm thinking here is, you know, Costanzo's old. He hasn't been playing. And also you're having injuries at tackle right now. So I think a tackle makes the most sense for them. And I'm going to give the Colts fans the player that I've seen a lot of them like. And that's going to be Jalen Mayfield. So, yeah, Colts fans, I will fulfill your wishes and give you Jalen Mayfield because I know a lot of you like him. He may not start initially. He can sit for a year or two behind Costanzo if need be, but you'll have your tackle of the future. Tennessee Titans, this is where I think I'm going to have Patrick Jones go. They need edge help bad. You saw Clowney go out for the season, and their edge rush has just been pitiful. I mean, did you watch the game against the Browns the other day? They have been missing Dean Pease, and Vrabel just really has not figured it out at all. I also thought about Jay Tufele here for them. New York Jets, let's see here. What do we have? Lots of tackles still available. So I think I'm going to give them a tackle. So I'm going to give them my best offensive lineman available, and that's Elijah Vera Tucker, who's played at left guard for USC this year. Think Elton Jenkins for Green Bay, where he's a Swiss Army knife type guy. You can move around the line and play him anywhere if you need. And I think that's going to be huge for protecting Trevor Lawrence. So love this pick for the Jets. Jacksonville Jaguars, you can go a variety of directions for them, but they just got Justin Fields, and I really like the idea of spending their second first-round pick on a tackle for him because you don't know what's going to happen with Cam Robinson. Let's give him the best tackle available, which is Sam Cosmi, in my opinion. But honestly, all of the tackles here, like Eichenberg and Redunce and Leatherwood, you could go either or, if you ask me. You could take either of them and I would understand. So let's move on to the Browns. This is a no-brainer for me. Get yourself a linebacker to put in the middle of that defense, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think I talked a little bit about how much I really like his game in the last mock draft. I honestly think I probably had him going to Cleveland in the last one, but I just love the fit so much. He could fit real nice next to Mac Wilson. It's just perfect pairing if you ask me. Buffalo Bills, best corner available because they need a number 2, so Eric Stokes. He's the best one available, and I feel like the Bills would really love like one of the Georgia guys, both Stokes and Campbell. If either of them were available, wouldn't be shocked if they took one of them. Green Bay Packers. Packers fan here. We could go a variety of directions, and I wouldn't be shocked by any of them. I think corner makes sense. I think receiver obviously makes sense. Tackle, we just extended David Bakhtiari, so I don't really see that as much. And our offensive line has been great this year. Linebacker definitely needs help. But our team never picks linebacker in the first round. They just don't. So I don't really see it happening. Interior defensive line, I had us taking Jay Tufele in the last mock draft, and honestly, I might repeat it because I love the pick so much. He'd be perfect to pair next to Kenny Clark. But I think in the second round, you can get someone like that similarly. Like just someone who can eat up the interior. They need that so bad. So honestly, I might repeat the pick. But who I'm actually going to pick, because I just want to throw this out there. Rashad Bateman is available, and it's ridiculous that he is. So I'm going to pick Rashad Bateman. Top 20 player in this class, if you ask me. He's great all-around receiver. I know he hasn't been as good this year as he was last, but really damn good. And I've thought about him for a number of teams leading up to this pick. You want a compliment to Davante Adams, you take Davante Adams 2.0 essentially. He's not only going to be good for Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be the receiver for Jordan Love, if Jordan Love is ever going to take a snap at quarterback for Green Bay. But I also want to note, Kadarius Toney. I have watched him a lot as of late. Oh my God, I am in love with him. This guy's route running has improved so much compared to last year. His contact balance is insane, and honestly, he might be better for Green Bay's needs, but I just think Rashad Bateman is the better overall player. So that's why I'm picking him here. But Kadarius Toney, if in a future mock I have him going first round, do not be surprised. And I might actually have him going a little bit later. But for the Chiefs, oh, okay, this is interesting. So with this position, it's kind of interesting what they could do here. Is there any interior linemen available that I like for them? Not really. You know, Nick Bolton has been really good this year. Nick Bolton does make sense for the Chiefs, and I honestly am probably going to give him to them. They are going to lose Sammy Watkins, potentially, and they're going to need a receiver too. You know, would Kadarius Toney be that crazy? Would he be that crazy for the Chiefs? I don't think he would, and I think they would love him. Oh my God, I don't know. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That'd be too overpowered. Nick Bolton, super quick linebacker, been really good this year. They need a guy to pair with Willie Gay, so just do it. On to the Saints. You're probably going to lose Marshawn Lattimore, but the Saints have made money work somehow. Every single time. What should I give the Saints? Let's just rain hell on everyone with Kadarius Toney. Because think about this. Alvin Kamara's contact balance is absolutely absurd. Kadarius Toney as a player in the Saints offense with Kamara would just be so annoying to tackle. So honestly, screw it. Let's just give him Toney. I feel like they make it so easy on Drew Brees if he's their quarterback next year, or whoever it may be. Taysom Hill, for hell, if we know. My God, this would be perfect for the Saints. And on to the Steelers, who have the last pick in the first round. I'm thinking tackle here, even though their offensive line has been good this year. So let's give them Eichenberg. So that's the mock draft. Let me know what you guys thought, because I think I did a pretty solid job. I didn't do trades in this one. I'm waiting to do trades until everything is set in stone with the picks. So I'm not going to do a trade mock draft until after the Super Bowl. So I'll probably do another mock after the season's over, right before the playoffs, and then after the Super Bowl once the season is done and we have everyone set for their pick. And I might do more rounds for that one, but hopefully you guys liked what I did for each of your teams. Let me know in the comments below if you did, because I have a lot of fun talking about the draft. I absolutely love doing it, and I feel bad for having J2 Fele out of the first round, if I'm being honest with you. I probably should have had him go to the Tennessee Titans, but oh well, it's too late. J2 Fele is definitely worth the first round pick. But with all that being said, thank you all for watching. Be sure to follow All Sports Culture on Instagram, and also to subscribe down below and like the video. It really helps us out. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.